Good afternoon, everybody. It's Thursday, November 3rd. Hope you're well. Going to get started with the before market close video. We'll do a quick market update. If anybody does have any tickers, let me know. I see we've got Sundial and T-God for Alicia, so we'll take a look at that here in a minute. But obviously markets were rattled yesterday after the interest rate hike, so they decided, again, 75 basis points. And again, lines up with my thinking that we could see more sell-off into those November 8th elections. And again, we didn't change the weekly trend. So I had anticipated that we were likely going to see a pullback back to around 380, 375, and we actually pulled back to 368. So just looking for that weekly higher low. The weekly trend change is possible now. So we're just looking for this higher low compared to the low at 348. And then it'll be all about resistance there at 390.39. So if we hold that support and then come up, break resistance, we'll be back in a weekly uptrend, and then at that point we can zoom out to the monthly time frame and we'll continue to bounce on the monthly and look for a monthly trend change. But at the moment it could even be a bit of an inverse head and shoulders here if you ignore that wick. So you just draw that inverse head and shoulders. Wasn't the greatest drawing, but there we go. So something like that. And if we take the measured move, that would bring us up to around back to all-time highs. So pretty little premature, so we'll see if that actually plays out, but we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross rather. So it's looking like we could see more downside, like I said, leading into those November 8th elections, maybe even pull back again next week. Let's just see if potential bull flag. I think we pulled back. Yeah, we pulled back a little bit more than we would like to see, so we'll just get rid of this other fib tool here. Yeah, so we pulled back more than the 0.32, so no longer a weekly bull flag favoring a type of equilibrium and tightening range. So it's likely that we pull back again next week. And generally, we run into, when it's an election year, we run into the election, and then after the election, we see a bit of a sell-off. So next week is the elections in the US, so if we, by that logic, we could see more weakness into next week. And then, again, that'll just give us the opportunity to change the weekly trend. And I think the FOMC rate decision next month could come in as a pivot. So we could start to see the Feds change their tune and then see an end of year rally. That's what I'm anticipating. But in terms of crypto at the moment, so we're a little choppy here. Looks like altcoins are standing out stronger than Bitcoin at the moment. And that's evident with the Bitcoin dominance. So the dominance is still breaking down. It's a monthly bear flag targeting 34%. And then descending triangle here on the monthly targeting 30%. And that'd be good for alts into the end of the year again. And it's looking like we could see this break down even more. But like I said, quite a big sell-off over the last week or so. And at the moment, it's a daily bear flag as well. Perfect daily bear flag, actually. So if we just take the measured move of this from the high to the low, bring it out here, and it's targeting 38 and change. So again, looks good for altcoins here leading into the end of the year. Also Ripple and SEC case. There was another amicus brief filing from, I can't remember the name of the company. I think it was an exchange, or no, it was a digital wallet company. I can't remember the name. Digital wallet, Ripple case, SEC. Let's just see who that was. Cryptillion. Yeah, no wonder I didn't remember that name. Cryptillion. Never heard of them before. But yeah, so we have that new development and also new exchange in Canada relisted XRP. So that's good for, there's 11 amicus brief filings. That just means friends of the court. So essentially 11 different companies all backing Ripple in the case, stating that XRP isn't a security and that, basically siding with Ripple. So looking good. And obviously the case, if that were to settle between now, we were told that Jeremy Hogan, also John Deaton said that the settlement is more than likely going to happen if it does between now and November 15th. So it's the 3rd today. So that would be just under 2 weeks. And obviously if Ripple were to settle and see that case come to an end, that would be extremely bullish for the rest of the market, right? But let's take a look at our movers and shakers here. At the moment, HP, MGTI, DMGI on the decline. We got Filecoin Hex, and Theta. So Filecoin, look at that move in the last few weeks. Look at the volume too. I can't stress enough how much of a buy this is. Back, we were at $236, and then the all-time high at $430. So from the low there at $4, you're talking about almost 100x. So if you put $1,000 into this thing, it goes back to all-time high. That's 100 grand for every $1,000. So this is one of my biggest positions that I'm looking to add to. We're still trying to get above this weekly EMA 12. So we did it here, but we didn't change the weekly trend. Did it here again, didn't change the weekly trend, and then just broke down. So it's looking like this thing could see a lot more upside. And we're starting the monthly bounce, and we have no resistance all the way up to $11.39, and then $28. And we have EMA 12 there at $17. So starting the monthly bounce. We were in a daily uptrend, but we lost it. But we broke to a higher high, so it's pretty choppy here at the moment. And then on the daily time frame, we have resistance there at $6.99. After that, nothing. We had this descending triangle back here as well. Just draw that out. And then just ignore the wicks. But essentially, you just take the measured move, and it said we were targeting about that, and then we actually hit that target and then some. So very, very bullish on this one. No-brainer. Absolute no-brainer in my opinion. So like I said, SPY just looking for a weekly trend change, and we're getting that now, having started weekly consolidation, so it's looking pretty good. The dollar starting the weekly bounce, but it's a monthly inside bar, actually 2 in a row. So it's going to be very clear setup. So if we break support, key support's at 109.53. If we break that, we start monthly consolidation really since the first time since January of this year. So coming on almost a full year. And if we break resistance at 113.94, we continue the monthly bounce. And again, until we lose the low of the previous monthly candle, we can expect stocks and crypto to be weak, right? But if we start losing support and starting monthly consolidation, then we can see crypto and stocks be strong into the end of the year. Let's take a look at the precious metals. There was an update from Uphold today too, saying that they were getting rid of precious metals for Canadians. So that was odd. Silver's doing good today. I'm not sure why we're seeing such an outperformance from silver comparative to gold, but it was very evident because we were in a weekly uptrend on silver, but not on gold. So we had the low, high, higher, low, and higher high. Another higher low, and gold didn't confirm a weekly trend change. So we had the low, high, looking for a higher low. It's essentially a triple bottom at the moment, but definitely weaker than silver at the moment. In terms of individual names, INSG, VERY, FTNT led the decline today. On the bullish, we have JSDA, SMG, and Hood. Airbnb reported earnings. Did they not today? Yeah. So they beat on EPS, beat on revenue estimates. I'm definitely going to be buying Airbnb stock when it crashes, but I'm not a buyer of it right now. Probably wait. So like I said, if we're going to see this brutal stock market crash over the next year or so, and this happens on SPY, which I'm anticipating it will, Airbnb could probably drop to like $75, maybe even between $75 and $50, and I'd be looking to load the boat at that point. Tesla, still in my Tesla trade. This thing's chopping around like crazy. Obviously, market weakness, interest rate hike to blame for that, but we did lose the daily uptrend as well. We were in a low, high, higher low, and higher high daily uptrend confirmed, but then we lost it once we lost support there at 216.35. But I've got my stop loss in at 197.99, and we came close 198.59, but it didn't stop me out, and I'm still in that trade. Like I said, looking for a gap fill here at around 262. So I'll be in Tesla. Just had a call coming in. Sorry about that. Moving on, let's take a look at Canadian MJ in terms of the leaders today. And actually, Oxley down 11%, four pennies, but trying to form a nice base of support there. not much more downside really that it can see before it gets to zero though. So, you know, things better turn around in a hurry for Oxley in my opinion. But again, just going to follow the rest of the space. IMCC and Love. So Canara seeing weakness over the last few weeks. Coming back to test the 52-week lows. On the bull list, we have WIB, ACB, and CGC. Sure what's going on with ACB, but it's up over 10% today. No longer in a daily downtrend since we broke this lower high pattern here at 137. So increasing bull volume looking pretty good. We do have earnings coming up on the 10th. I believe it is. I'm pretty sure that's the date. I didn't vet it, but tentative we'll say for now. But we still need to change the daily trend. CGC topping out at EMA 26 here on the daily time frame. VTNR on the NASDAQ, earnings next Tuesday. Alicia says, okay, cool. Yeah, we can take a look at that. I think you wanted to look at SNDL and TGOT as well, so we'll look at those in just a second. But yeah, the Canadian MJ names, ACB, strongest today. In terms of American MJ, we've got Acreage, MedMen, and KHRN down the most today. Not surprising to see Acreage down when we just ran like 150% in a few weeks. But could still see a bull cross here on the EMA, so it's looking pretty good. And then FIT, IIPR, and KGKG leading the bull list. MSOS, so again, drew this trend line. We did break below it, but we didn't really see much follow through to the downside. So we're just trying to get back above that support line, see whether or not this was a potential bear trap and fake out, but it's looking okay. We're pretty choppy here in terms of the daily time frame. We've just been kind of going sideways. So you just zoom out to the weekly, and weekly consolidation starting this week. So at the moment, still haven't confirmed a weekly uptrend just like SPY. So we have the low high, now looking for a higher low compared to the all-time low there at 870. So if we can form this higher low and a higher high back in a weekly uptrend, monthly bounce will be underway, and then we'll look for the monthly uptrend again. We can't be confident in anything shifting until we confirm monthly and weekly uptrends, but monthly being the most important. VTNR, yeah, let's take a look at it. VTNR. Vertex. Earnings next Tuesday. So yeah, estimated negative 0.043 for EPS and revenue estimated at 913.673 million. It's looking good. It's definitely strong at the moment. It's in a daily uptrend. It's got lots of support, higher lows and higher highs. We did already have a bull cross here on the EMAs though, so we could see a bear cross with the shorter term coming down through the longer term. So just in terms of the daily time frame, it is looking like we could see more downside, and we are in a weekly downtrend with lower highs and lower lows, and anything under 925 is just a lower high. We hit 895, so we're closer to resistance than we are support. So and we still haven't confirmed a weekly uptrend, so this moves all coming off the low off 543. So we've now run 67% without a weekly higher low. So one would think that we're likely going to see a pullback. If I were to guess, we are seeing decreasing bull volume as well, so it's not looking good. If I were to guess, I would say that it's probably going to be a bearish reaction. If not, we could see a sell-off leading into it. So if that happens, we'll expect to pull back probably to around $7, at least $650 while we look for a higher low. We could still see a bull cross on the EMAs though, so I'm just not convinced. I think that we're going to probably pull back over the next week or two. Because like I said, still in a weekly downtrend, haven't confirmed it with a higher low and higher high, so just be careful on this one. So now would be a good time to open a position in Ripple. This will be my first crypto investment. I think you mean XRP. So Ripple's a company and XRP is a cryptocurrency. So Ripple, you can buy private shares of Ripple, right? Like you can go to Link 2, for example, private equity investing, and you can buy Ripple on here. So Ripple, the actual company, is listed on there. You can buy shares. I think it's like $40, but you need to be accredited. So you need to have like a net worth of $1 million, right? Which most people probably wouldn't. So Ripple's a company. You can buy shares, private equity in that. And then XRP, the cryptocurrency, you can buy, if you're in Canada, I use Binance. And if you're in the US, you can use Uphold. But you can use Uphold as well if you're in Canada. So if you want to just go to YouTube, go to YouTube, click on POW Group, and then go to right here on the sponsors page. Second one here is Uphold, or you can just go to About, scroll down to links, and there's the Uphold one there. So you can buy XRP, got the little XRP symbol here on Uphold. That's probably what I would recommend, actually. It's a really good platform. And then this would be my first crypto investment. Yeah, so I would 100% recommend that. XRP, I think it has the best upside potential. So yeah, I totally recommend Uphold. I've been using them for a while. They got a really simple, easy to use interface. They've got over like 200 different assets that you can buy on there. We are above the 10-week moving average though on VTNR, and we're having a bull cross on the MACD. So if we can close the week over 753, it's looking really, really good. Having saw that bull cross on the MACD. So, but again, I do think that we could come back and maybe back test. We haven't back tested the 10-week moving average really, and still in a weekly downtrend, still haven't confirmed the weekly uptrend. So I would think more than likely going to see a pullback to at least 750, which also lines up with the 10-week moving average as well. And then in terms of the moving averages, we're getting above the 50 weekly, and we're above all of those weekly moving averages. So it's looking strong. Just like I said, I'm a little skeptical because we haven't confirmed the weekly uptrend. So if we can get back in a weekly uptrend, then it's looking real good. But we did have a death cross though. The 50-day above all of the other moving averages. When the shorter term's above the longer term comes down through the 50 through the 200, that's a death cross, right? So again, adding more confluence to the fact that I think we could see more downside in the short term. It's looking good in the medium to long term. I'd say medium term. Long term, I'm very bearish on the whole stock market. So I would say short term bearish, medium bullish, and long term bearish. So, but again, just it depends if you're looking to get in for a swing trade, day trade. Are you investing? Are you holding it 5-10 years? All gonna change the way you approach it, right? So hopefully that helps. But yeah, I think now would be a good time to open a position in XRP, honestly. We could see a little bit more downside though. But I mean, realistically, anywhere around here is a decent buy in my opinion. We could see EMA 12 and 26 bull cross there on the weekly as well. And yeah, this is one of the strongest names in crypto at the moment. We're in a weekly uptrend as well. But yeah, it's entirely possible that we come back down. We're still in a monthly downtrend, so we still need to confirm a monthly uptrend. So it's possible that this thing comes back to low 30s. But again, as we recommend, probably just dollar cost averaging, right? You could buy a little bit now, buy a little bit around 35 cents, 40 cents, 35 cents. Just look to scale in. All right, let's take a look. So you wanted to look at SNDL as well. Let's take a look at that one. So weekly bounce underway again for the third week in a row, but still no weekly trend change. And still in a monthly downtrend, monthly inside bar at the moment. So we still haven't started the monthly bounce, but we have no monthly resistance all the way up to 891. So this thing could easily fly if we get some momentum back in the sector. So next daily support's at 205. And we're still struggling. Could see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on the EMAs on the daily time frame, but still struggling. Couldn't even get over yesterday's high, but basically just following the rest of the market. Weakness. And we've got a doji here on SPY today, so it's indecision, and we could see a bear cross of these EMAs leading into tomorrow. So if I had to guess, I'd say we could be testing support there at 363 tomorrow. And again, that would be bearish for a lot of our individual names as well. But yeah, this is, you know, a lot of these MJ names, we just need monthly uptrends to confirm, right, to be confident that anything's gonna really change before we can be confident that the bear market's over, right? But monthly inside bar, so resistance there at 284. If we break that, we start the monthly bounce, and then we have no resistance all the way up to $8.91. And then key support there at 196. We lose that, then we'll be testing all-time lows at around 138. But looking like we could see a little bit more downside in the short term. And then, like I said, leading into November 8th elections into next week. Next week's going to be super important. And then look to form a bottom, and then maybe even see a potential sell-off just shortly after the elections. And then, like I said, I'm anticipating a pretty big move in the stock market and crypto into the end of the year. But in terms of the weekly time frame, we're looking pretty good. Just want to see us close this week over 237. If we can close over 237, we're bullish on the MACD and the stochastic. So if we can close over that this week, it's looking really, really good. SNDL on the weekly time frame, we have nothing nearby until the 50 weekly there at 424. And then we're still rejecting at the 50-day moving average. So again, weekly candle close over 237, and then if we can close a daily candle over 243, that would be huge. But like I said, wouldn't be surprised if we started to gravitate back towards those 200-day moving averages, and that would mean we bring us back up to around 390. So I think 390 is very possible for SNDL leading into the end of the year here, into a lame duck session and potential reform in the U.S. with regards to legalization. And then because SNDL is listed on the NASDAQ, a lot of these people in the U.S., they hear about MJ stocks, legalization, things starting to happen, and they just go and they look for stocks to buy. And a lot of those OTC names they can't buy, right? Because it's over the counter. And a lot of brokers like Robinhood only have those NASDAQ listed names, right? Your SNDLs, your Tilrays, Hexo, CGCs of the world, right? Yeah, T-God, not really much to see here. You know, these, obviously the acquisition news helped the stock and the market like that. But this thing off the low there, 150% in a few weeks. So down at 5 cents, and then we hit 12.5 cents. Could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, but we haven't consolidated on the weekly time frame since 5 cents. So one would think that we're probably going to see a little bit more pullback. Maybe to around the 8 cent area, 7.5. I'd say probably closer to 7 cents. And then we look for a higher low. Again, it lines up with my thinking as well that we could see a little bit more, one more leg down in the broader market, and then into the end of the year. Over the next few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, I think we set a bottom, and then into next month, I believe we have another FOMC rate decision next month, and then that's when I think they could start to pivot. And then we see a pretty big rally into the end of the year. Whichever you think is worthy of checking today. Yeah, okay, so I've checked them all for you. So Grayman says he went to the store here and the cantinis are $9. Yeah, that's excessive. They're like $6 or $7 here in Alberta. Yeah, because the Redibles are 10 mg, and they're only like 3 something. So if you do the math on that, 10 milligrams for $3 of the edibles, the Redibles, right? And then $9 for the Cantini drink, which is 10 milligrams. So like that just doesn't make any sense. But it's because of supply and demand, right? They're going to run out. So it's generally how it happens, right? They start off high and then they drop the price. But in Alberta here, they're nowhere near that, right? You can just go to, where is it? Best bang for your bud. Put in Edmonton. And search House of Terpenes. Oh yeah, we don't have it yet. I thought I saw it for $7 though. Oshawa. Yeah. It says $7 on here. Weird. Just going to send that to Gray Man here now. Yeah, like none of them are $9, so I'm not sure what that's about, but I would say it was just that store. Yeah, one time when I was driving across Canada, they wanted to charge me, I think it was like $13 for a little Victory, 2.5 milligrams. Yeah, some of those stores in Ontario are just daylight robbery. It's pretty insane, not gonna lie. All right, so wrapping it up. You were seeing exactly what I anticipated on Vertex. I'm going well tomorrow and maybe be back later. My first big trade. Okay, cool. Yeah, no problem. You're welcome. Glad that helped. But gonna wrap it up here now. Market's closing in 2 minutes, and SPY's at, like I said, just in the middle of that range today. Doji candle, but we are red, so it's looking like we could see a little bit more downside into tomorrow, and then, like I said, ultimately over the next couple weeks while we look for a bottom into the midterms, and then, like I said, I think over the next 2 to 3 weeks we'll probably set a bottom, and it lines up with the fractal here as well on the .com. So it's saying right here, so again, mid-November is where we could start to see the market shift and then see a pretty big move into the end of the year, and then ultimately run for the hills after that, because bloodbath likely coming in 2023. But yeah, T-God, like I said, would probably anticipate a little bit more of a pullback there on the weekly time frame, again lining up with the weakness in the broader market as well. But we're looking real good on the weekly time frame on T-God. See how close we are to a golden cross. Still a ways away, but it's looking good. Back over its 200-day moving average. So this, again, this is what I think a lot of our names are going to do here into the end of the year. They're going to come back and back test those 200-day moving averages, which they haven't done in multiple years, right? So again, going back to SNDL, I think SNDL can do the same thing that T-God just did, and then that would mean we'd be back up around that 390 area here into the end of the year. That's what I'll be anticipating. But I'll keep you posted on anything if anything does change. Not seeing any other requests at the moment, so going to end it there. Have a great night, and we'll see everybody in the chat room in a few minutes. Not sure if I'll be getting a video tomorrow, but I'll do my best. All right, see you in the chat room in a bit. Have a good night.